Going on? What's going on? PayPal and Perplexity stock didn't even hasn't even budged. It is my suspicion that today and tomorrow are going to be very quiet. It is my suspicion.
Yes, pre-market action is pretty mixed this morning. Pretty split down the middle.
Right?
You got obviously Nvidia and AMD pretty heavy this morning. CoreWeave's starting to speed up a little bit. Um, Oracle as well with that group down.
Yeah, Nvidia is down almost 5% right now.
Dude, I almost pulled the trigger on something on this, man. I know I talked about it like 10 times yesterday, but man, that was crazy to see like Nvidia like down on the day in the morning with like the Nasdaq up 1.5%. And then to be down up less than the Nasdaq on the day. How often do you see that?
Yeah, I mean I mean that story is kind of leading the charge. I mean the story's been developing for some time, but really starting to hit the headlines. I mean AVGO was up 11%. Like this is a 1.6 trillion dollar company. That's huge. Um yeah, and then AMD down almost 7% now in the pre-market. What is the SMH doing? It is down 1%. Really? The Widowmaker.
Yeah, boil down 10%.
Could
There you
be
go.
Ukraine stuff. Yeah, it looks like the Russia-Ukraine war is set to end. Hopefully pretty soon. Basically that KYIV is up 6% in the pre-market. Fuckers. Uh JMIA had a nice little upgrade. This is been consolidating nicely. Nice little 3-day pop. See if we can get some tightness. This is on, I think it's reasonable to be on a focus list given the weekly chart and the stock's ability to move. But yeah, let's take a look here. We got the Qs actually down 0.3% now. We were sitting relatively flat. Actually, we've been sitting around here for most of pre-market. We had some economic data come out. PPI came in slightly higher than expected, just 10 basis points. And then retail sales for September came in. So this is, over 2 months delayed. Um, some comments out of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent about the Fed chair. They said they're probably gonna have a Fed chair announced by Christmas. So this is
Yeah.
essentially Jerome Powell's last meeting where he'll be in the spotlight. It'll be curious to see if that Fed president is active ahead of May when Jerome Powell's term is set to expire. Um, but we are below a declining 20 period moving average on the QQQ. The 50 SMA is just up above the 20s. We now have 50 SMA, 20 May, 90 May, and then price is between, sitting right there in the middle. Um, so, a lot of work still needs to be done. Again, very curious as to, how this develops today and tomorrow. Um, I personally would like us to kind of push up towards the top of this range and then get some bullish excitement into that push and then kind of pull back in. This is my ideal scenario in the near term, and then pull back in below that area, kind of trapping in some bears essentially, and getting washing out those exuberant bulls, and then putting in some sort of higher low, getting a little bit tight, and then pushing back up um towards highs. That'd be like my kind of probably ideal scenario. I thought the worst case scenario would have been a large gap up into that range, and then a like a another big nasty downside reversal bar. So we have avoided that right now. Um, Two scenarios for today that I see most likely. Seeing that Nvidia is already down just under 5%. Um, I'm curious as to, kind of how much the Qs could, will or could or will drift down. My expectation is for this to probably have, a pretty normal, quiet inside day. I think that would be extremely positive. I think that'd be extremely positive to have a nice quiet inside day, and I really want that to occur. I do think there's a chance that, go red to green and, take out yesterday's high, take out the 50-day moving average, and then, again, kind of still seeing if there are, sellers present, back in some of these areas, how hard they're going to step in. And then, what that looks like in terms of follow through. Are they able to get another, very easy down day like they have so far in over the past month? Or is the market able to absorb that, get a little bit tighter, calm that volatility down a little bit, and trade a little bit more normally versus quite erratic? Because, regardless of Friday and yesterday, while you're below the moving averages, seeing a 2.5% update is it's cool, but it's not like yeah, we're out of the woods, right? Especially if you're not able to reclaim some of those levels. That's why I've got that trading checklist from Mike Webster, which I posted yesterday, which is just very, very, very simple. Remounting above the 21 day and closing above it, getting your low above it, etc. Um, Aside from that, right? Aside from the indexes, one thing that I really loved and I do still like quite a bit right now is that there's about 10 to 12 names on my watch list that I'm pretty interested in and pretty excited about. I posted a number of them yesterday in kind of these long posts where I just kind of described what I'm looking for on the daily or hourly yesterday afternoon. And I think the only one that I really have to add to that list that I didn't post was Baba. They had earnings today, and it's gapping up 2%. Really like this weekly candle right here. Like if that's a daily candle, you're buying essentially that kicker over previous week's high, which you're getting over in the pre-market here today. Um, and yeah, we'll see how it ends up trading today. SNDK added to the S&P 500. Um, Yeah. Meta is pushing, geez, almost 2%. Wow, that's pretty nice. They're throwing their hat in the ring in the Google TPU stuff, saying they'll buy a bunch of them in the coming years. Um, what else is interesting on my watch list? And then I'm kind of just looking for some of these to, you know, like TER. I'm kind of looking for this to, really stand out, right? Like LITE, for example. Um, Man, I really wish I had a position in this. Um, like what a move on this yesterday. It was up 17%, up almost up for over $40. Like this is, you can see like the leadership in that in this move. And I don't just want to be kind of, dabbling in things that are not fully, proven yet, if you will, and kind of wait for this to, really decisively say that there are, buyers present. So, drifting up here, is this going to be a lower high? Are we going to put in a higher low? And are we going to be able to take out that Thursday bar high? Is what I really want to see on something like TER. Twilio already able to take out that Thursday high. I would love an inside day today. Going to be watching the hourly. This could give a red to green little go signal against about 120, 123, 124 this morning. So I'm going to be watching that closely. I'd prefer it have an inside day rather than go today. DOCN is another one that I'm looking at through basically like the past 4 or 5 day high around 46 right there. Again, inside day would be ideal on this. COHR is gapping down about 3%. Going to continue to keep my eyes on this. Looking for a little bit of tightness to build out. I think that some institution or something is selling a block of shares. And also, I think it got removed from one of the ETFs. I'm not sure about the last part, but down 3% this morning. And then FLNC gapping up 10% on earnings. Excuse me. They actually had really shitty earnings. Not really shitty, but not great earnings. But their guidance was pretty solid. So I'm curious. Hold on. I don't know what's going on with my throat.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
That looks funny.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, I was on a roll. Fuck, what was I talking about? Stocks.
Inside
Right.
days, I don't know.
Inside days, this and that. Q's flat, Nvidia. I think Michael Burry went long. That's why it's actually down 5%. Anyways, over to you, Bracco, in Kentucky.
All right. Yeah, no, I agree with the inside bar today. I've been kind of thinking that this morning, at least on the indexes. It's just tough. You look at the mega caps. I mean, the Nvidia AMD pre-market weakness kind of feels like it's gonna stay today personally. I think it's catching some people off sides, and AMD down 7% could stabilize around 200 today. Nvidia down 4.5. Was mentioning the relative weakness on this yesterday as being a little bit concerning. If this is going to stay heavy, might be a little tough for the Qs to get going, especially considering that you'll have the semis kind of lagging a little bit. You can see it in the pre-market. SMH is down 1%, with Qs down 0.3. Google's up 10% above the 90 EMA now. I posted a little weekly chart of it this morning and how it's starting to break records as far as how extended it is on like a weekly chart on like an ATR metric from the 50 week. To me, this looks like it probably wants to rest here a little bit. AVGO could maintain this move today, but it's a big 2 day move, up into recent highs, and then Meta's coming up into the 20 EMA, which are like the three kind of really strong mega caps, and not great to see those three making really big moves this morning, and the Q's still red in the pre-market. You actually have a decent other bit of stocks down too. It's kind of like a split 50-50 down the middle in pre-market, to be honest. It's a kind of hard to get a read right now, and if you don't have everything moving in kind of unison together, it can get a little bit tricky. IWM came up near the 50-day this morning. This has made a pretty big 2 day move and then continued in pre-market. I could see this chart definitely wanting to rest here a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's nice to see the watches building out. I certainly have more stocks that I'm watching than I did a week ago. like just stocks that actually like look interesting. So that's a start. You know, there's still a lot of names like below the moving averages that still need to remounts and stuff. But yeah, I'm probably gonna be here like half the day. Second half of the day, I kind of gotta get ready for my trip and stuff. So um, I'll just be taking some notes. I don't see any interesting trades today. You know, if this Google gets another day up, it could be something fun, but Friday's like a half day, and like I don't even know if I want to be interested in that, to be honest. But Baba had earnings. That's going to be an interesting one to watch. Um, just kind of wishing I honestly tried to shorten the video yesterday because I was thinking about it all day, but with the Nasdaq like strong like that, as it was tough to pull the trigger on that. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna chill today. Nothing crazy as far as news goes this morning. You do got a good bit of pre-market movers. There's a lot of upgrades and stuff. Good bit of earnings this morning. I posted them all in the breaking news channel for anyone that wants to go check it out. Let's see, was there anything else? I think that is it. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it.
One earnings I didn't highlight is this Keysight Technologies is gapping up 13%. Right now it's a little bit of a thinner name. But they do have a an AI angle to the company. This is up 13% in the pre-market. Um, and then man, this AMTM, if you look at this weekly, do you know what this weekly looks like right here? I'm curious if anyone has a comparison because I do in my head. All right, time's up. I will just
Weekly?
tell you.
Oh,
Um, let me see if it actually looks like this. This is just in my head. Kind of reminds me of this when Manrav traded this Oscar back here. Doesn't actually look as much like it as I thought. Kinda. Yeah, maybe
see
not.
it.
Is that right there? Get over that range. Yeah, a little bit. This is up 12%. They had really strong earnings. I thought they were really solid. Newer IPO. Um, dun, 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 dun. Man, this Upwork. God, I wish I would have got a piece of this yesterday. I honestly should have. I'm actually pretty upset that I didn't. I It's a nice little 6% gap up. AEO. To go off Brocco's joke, I think it needs 4 inside days. Um, I think it's up 4 days in a row. Um, I mean, I like the look, like here, but I think it's a little bit too far gone right now. Um, Russia attacking right now. Jesus, come on, man. Um, Alrighty, but yeah, I'm gonna see how COHR responds to this gap down. Um. We're watching FLNC, kind of how they respond on their earnings, AMTM, how it responds on this gap up, um, market, in general, kind of how it behaves here. TER, we're watching that. CIEN. I actually think I'm starting to like this one better than any other ones. Quite a bit. 7 inside days in a row would be ideal. I do want to mention Tesla here. So this is going to be, I think, kind of an important chart to pay attention to going forward. The top and the bottom of the range here. Um, if is this going to be a rejection at this base that kind of comes down, or is this going to be like a little undercut of this consolidation that remounts? right here. And if this is the case on this right here, this is going to be pretty exciting. And I really like that strength yesterday. This is up 7%. Um, so I think this is going to be one that to keep our eyes on. I mean, obviously it's Tesla, and we keep our eyes on it no matter what. But I've kind of got this scenario kind of mapped out to where in the bull case it does that, in the bear case does something like that. That would be a no bueno. This would be very bueno. Yeah, overall, trying to keep it fairly simple. I know that while I'll recognize strong opportunities when they are giving just exceptional entry opportunities and risk reward. It's just going to be the ability to capitalize and execute that it's going to come down to, per usual. Um, if I do start sniffing out that it's going to be an inside day, as I again kind of expect, um, I will very happily hop off Zoom early in the morning. So we'll see. The only holiday week I wish I traded more. Actually, we traded the perfect amount in 2023. We traded the perfect amount. Mara and Affirm nailed it. That was the only other week
Yeah, those really were the two perfect Thanksgiving trades in
in
23.
2023.
Yeah, Furman Mara. Yeah. But I
Which
mean, that was like when the market was like hot as shit.
yeah,
I mean, we,
just
we were having like a lockout rally out of like a, 5-month correction with a massive macro like catalyst.
and
Not necessarily where we're at right now, unfortunately.
essentially 12 months of basing out of a bear market.
You want to see low volume rally. Look at November 24th, 2023 on the Qs. Traded 15 million shares.
Is that the lowest day ever?
Pretty low. The daily range was 0.3% that day. I remember that. Me and you were on Zoom talking about the Affirm idea.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. Speaking of, there will be an Adobe Analytics headline on coming out at some point, either after Black Friday or just prior, about Affirm numbers and the online shopping numbers. I'm curious as to how what some of the other like AI data center-ish type stocks um react to some of these headlines. Um I mean, obviously so far it's kind of just Nvidia and AMD. We'll see if that how far that spreads out. Anybody got any comments? Anything that you're eyeing that maybe we didn't mention? Yeah, I'm down for that. That sounds. I'm down to keep my eyes on that for sure. We'll put AMTM up there, man. 14%. I got
You
TTI
talking
in
about
this.
Baba?
I did.
Okay, sorry, never mind. I must have been gone for a minute.
Well, just I mean, very briefly. Um, man, this looks great. They had this looks great. God, I wish I would have. I don't know how to get in, how to get, but you could probably. This is right on the center of my screen right now for reference. I could see myself getting involved in this um today. We'll see. Mm. Well, that's why I'm up 30%, 31%.
Yeah, it feels a little like short squeezy in the pre-market.
So FLNC is getting a little bit of love
Look
ahead
at
of
the
open.
weekly on FLNC. I was looking at that this morning.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of his like Irene back here. Big upper wick, kind of pull in.